How many times have you told yourself, "Tomorrow I will start. Tomorrow you will go to the gym. Tomorrow you will write that book. Tomorrow you will begin your dream project," but tomorrow never comes. Weeks pass, months pass, and you are still standing in the same place. The truth is, most people are not lazy. They are stuck. They wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait until they feel ready. But readiness never arrives. Action is what creates readiness. This audiobook is about forcing yourself to take action, even when you do not feel like it. It is about breaking free from excuses, from fear, from procrastination. It is about learning simple but powerful steps that push you forward, even when your mind wants to hold you back. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. Without it, nothing changes. With it, everything changes. In the chapters ahead, we will explore why people avoid action, what it costs them, and how to build unstoppable momentum. You will learn how to break comfort zones, how to focus, how to push through failure, and how to build long-term consistency. Each chapter is designed to give you practical tools you can use right now. Before we begin, I want to remind you, stay with this audiobook until the end. Do not just listen passively. Think about your own life as you listen. Imagine the steps you will take. And if you want more life-changing audiobooks like this one, make sure to subscribe and stay connected. Now, let us begin this journey together. Let us turn hesitation into action, excuses into progress, and dreams into reality. Welcome to How to Force Yourself to Take Action. Chapter 1. Why we avoid action. Every person has dreams. Some want to start a business, some want to get fit, some want to learn a skill, and some want to change their lives completely. But while dreams are common, action is rare. Why? Because the human mind finds ways to avoid action. We do not fail because we lack ideas. We fail because we delay, we hesitate, and we avoid doing the hard work. To understand how to force yourself to take action, you must first understand why you avoid it. Avoidance is not random. It is built from patterns inside your brain and feelings inside your heart. When you know these patterns, you can fight them. When you remain blind to them, they control you. One reason people avoid action is fear. Fear of failure is one of the strongest blocks in life. You think, what if I try and fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I am not good enough? This fear keeps you stuck. You convince yourself that not starting is safer than trying and failing. But in truth, not starting is the greatest failure of all. When you never try, you guarantee that nothing changes. Another fear is the fear of success. It may sound strange, but success brings change, and change can feel scary. If you succeed, your life may look different. People may expect more from you. You may need to leave behind your comfort zone, so you hold back, telling yourself you are not ready. But this fear of success is just another form of self-doubt dressed in disguise. A second reason we avoid action is perfectionism. Many people think they need the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect tools before they start. They spend weeks or months planning, reading, preparing, but never doing. They wait until everything feels right, but nothing in life will ever be perfect. Perfectionism is a trick the mind uses to delay. The truth is, progress, not perfection, is what creates results. Another reason is comfort. The brain loves comfort. It loves routine. When you think about taking action, whether it is exercising, studying, or starting a project, your brain compares it to the comfort of doing nothing. The couch feels safe. The phone feels fun. Netflix feels easy. Action feels heavy. So the brain pushes you toward comfort. This is why people stay in the same patterns for years, even when they are unhappy. Comfort is easy, and action is hard. We also avoid action because of habits. If you are used to procrastinating, your brain has built a habit of delaying. You tell yourself, I will do it later, and later never comes. Each time you delay, the habit grows stronger. Soon, procrastination becomes automatic. The brain chooses it without thought. To break this, you must build new habits of action. Sometimes people avoid action because they feel overwhelmed. The task seems too big. Writing a whole book, building a business, losing weight, it feels impossible. When the mountain looks too high, you do not even take the first step. Instead, you freeze. Overwhelm makes you believe that because you cannot do everything now, you should do nothing. This is a lie. Every big achievement is made of small steps. Another reason is lack of clarity. If you do not know exactly what to do, you do nothing. Vague goals like I want to be healthier or I want to be successful do not push you to act. The brain avoids unclear paths. Clear goals like I will walk for 20 minutes today or I will write 1 page tonight are easier to act on. Lack of clarity is often an excuse the mind uses to stay still. We also avoid action because of low energy. Poor sleep, poor diet, lack of exercise, or too much stress drain your body. When your energy is low, even small tasks feel impossible. You tell yourself you are lazy, but often you are just tired. Energy is the fuel for action. Without it, the car does not move. Sometimes we avoid action because of comparison. You look at others who are far ahead and think, I will never catch up. You compare your beginning to their middle or end. This kills motivation and keeps you from starting. But what you forget is that they too started small. Every expert was once a beginner. Every success story began with a single step. Lastly, people avoid action because they wait for motivation. They think they need to feel inspired before they can act. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. If you wait for it, you may wait forever. The truth is, action creates motivation, not the other way around. Once you start, motivation grows. The problem is that most people never start. All of these reasons, fear, perfectionism, comfort, habits, overwhelm, lack of clarity, low energy, comparison, and waiting for motivation are real. They feel strong, but they are not stronger than your ability to act. Once you see them clearly, they lose power. They are excuses, not truths. Think of your life as a road. Action moves you forward. Avoidance keeps you standing still. Each day you avoid action, you stay in the same place. Each day you choose action. Even in small steps, you move closer to your dreams. The difference between those who achieve and those who do not is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is the decision to act, even when it is hard. As we move through this audiobook, you will learn how to break these barriers. You will learn how to stop waiting for perfect moments and how to create progress today. But the first step is awareness. You must admit the truth. You have been avoiding action, and it has cost you time, energy, and growth. That honesty is the start of change. In the next chapter, we will look at the cost of inaction, the price you pay every time you choose not to act. This cost is often hidden, but it is heavy. When you understand what inaction steals from you, you will feel the fire to never let it win again. Chapter 2. The cost of inaction. Every choice in life has a cost. Action has a cost, but so does inaction. Most people only think about the risk of acting. They say, what if I fail? What if I make mistakes? What if I waste my time? But they forget to ask, what is the cost of not acting at all? The truth is, the cost of inaction is always higher than the cost of failure. Failure teaches you, inaction traps you. Think about a dream you have carried for years. Maybe it is writing a book, starting a business, learning a skill, or improving your health. Every day you delay, the dream stays on the shelf. Days become weeks. Weeks become years. The dream never becomes real. This is the silent cost of inaction. Lost time. Time is the one thing you can never get back. You can recover money. You can rebuild relationships, but you cannot recover time. Each day you avoid action, a day of your life disappears forever. Another cost of inaction is regret. Regret is heavier than failure. When you fail, you can try again. When you regret, you cannot go back. Many people at the end of their lives do not regret the things they tried. They regret the things they never did. They regret not chasing the dream, not taking the chance, not acting when they had the time. Regret is the price you pay when you choose inaction. Inaction also steals confidence. Every time you avoid action, you send a message to yourself. I cannot do this. I am too weak. I am not ready. Over time, these messages become your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who talks, but never acts. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. Inaction breaks those promises. Each broken promise makes your belief in yourself smaller. Inaction also makes problems grow. Small problems ignored become big problems later. If you avoid exercising, your health declines. If you avoid studying, your grades drop. If you avoid hard conversations, relationships weaken. Action solves problems. Inaction feeds them. What feels like safety in the moment becomes danger in the future. Another hidden cost of inaction is lost opportunity. Opportunities do not wait forever. A chance to learn, a chance to grow, a chance to connect. These doors open and close. If you do not act when the door is open, it may never open again. Many people look back and realize they missed chances that never returned. The world rewards action, not hesitation. Inaction also creates stress. You may think avoiding action reduces stress, but the opposite is true. When you delay, tasks pile up. The weight grows heavier. Each time you see the unfinished task, you feel guilt. This guilt drains your energy and makes the task even harder to start. The longer you avoid, the worse you feel. Action releases stress because it moves you forward. Inaction traps stress because it leaves you stuck. Inaction also damages relationships. When you avoid action, you may break trust with others. You say you will call, but you don't. You promise to finish something, but you delay. Over time, people stop depending on you. They lose respect. They may even pull away. Relationships grow through action, through showing up, through keeping promises. Inaction slowly breaks those bonds. Another cost is the loss of growth. Every action, even small, teaches you something. You learn skills, lessons, and wisdom. Inaction teaches you nothing. It keeps you the same. Life is always moving. If you do not grow, you fall behind. Action keeps you alive and expanding. Inaction keeps you stuck and shrinking. Sometimes the cost of inaction is hidden deep inside. You may not notice it day by day, but it shows up in the form of emptiness. You feel restless, unsatisfied, and bored. This emptiness comes because you know you are not living up to your potential. Your heart knows you are capable of more, but you are not acting. This quiet pain can be worse than loud failure. The cost of inaction is also financial. If you avoid asking for a raise, you earn less. If you avoid starting the business, you miss income. If you avoid learning new skills, your career slows down. Action builds wealth. Inaction keeps you poor, not only in money but in experience, growth, and joy. Look at your own life right now. Think about one area where you have delayed action. Maybe you wanted to improve your health, but never started. Maybe you wanted to learn something new, but kept waiting. Maybe you wanted to change your life, but stayed in the same place. What has this inaction cost you already? How many days have passed? How much energy has been wasted? How much confidence has been lost? The cost is real, even if you do not want to face it. The good news is that once you see the cost, you can change. The pain of inaction can push you forward. If you let yourself feel the weight of lost time, lost chances, lost confidence, you will no longer want to waste another day. This pain can become fuel. It can remind you that acting today is always better than waiting for tomorrow. Taking action may be hard, but inaction is harder in the long run. Action may bring failure, but failure teaches. Inaction brings nothing but regret. Action may take effort, but effort builds strength. Inaction drains strength. Action may scare you, but fear fades when you move. Inaction keeps fear alive forever. So remember this truth. The greatest danger in life is not failing. The greatest danger is never trying. Inaction is the silent killer of dreams. Do not let it steal yours. In the next chapter, we will break another myth. The idea that you need motivation before you act. You will see why waiting for motivation is the biggest trap, and why action itself is the real source of motivation. Chapter 3: The Myth of Motivation. Many people believe they need motivation before they can act. They wait for the right feeling, the right mood, or the right inspiration. They say, "I will start when I feel ready. I will begin when I am motivated." But this is a myth. Motivation is not the fuel that starts action. Action is the fuel that creates motivation. If you wait for motivation, you may wait forever. Think about times in your life when you did not feel like doing something, but did it anyway. Maybe you did not want to clean your room, but once you started, you kept going. Maybe you did not feel like exercising, but once you put on your shoes and moved, you felt better. Maybe you did not feel like studying, but once you opened the book, you began to focus. At first there was no motivation, there was only action. But action created momentum, and momentum created motivation. Motivation is like a spark, not a fire. It comes and goes quickly. If you depend on it, your progress will be unstable. Some days you will feel inspired, and some days you will not. If you only act when inspired, you will never be consistent. But action does not depend on mood. You can act even when you do not feel like it, and once you act, the fire grows. The myth of motivation is dangerous because it makes people passive. They sit and wait for a magical moment when they will feel powerful enough to change their lives. They watch videos, read quotes, or listen to speeches, hoping for motivation. For a short time, they feel excited, but soon the feeling fades, and they are back where they started. Real change never comes from waiting for feelings. It comes from building habits of action. Motivation is also unreliable because emotions change quickly. You may wake up motivated, but then one negative comment ruins your mood. You may feel excited about a project, but then a small setback makes you quit. If you rely only on motivation, every obstacle will stop you. What you need instead is discipline. Discipline is the ability to act whether you feel like it or not. Motivation asks, "Do I feel like it?" Discipline says, "It doesn't matter, I will do it anyway." Many successful people are not motivated every day, they are disciplined. Athletes do not always feel like training, but they train anyway. Writers do not always feel inspired, but they write anyway. Entrepreneurs do not always feel energetic, but they work anyway. Their success comes not from waiting for motivation, but from forcing action until it becomes habit. Motivation is helpful, but it should not be your foundation. Think of it as a bonus, not the core. When motivation comes, use it. Ride the wave. But when it leaves, keep moving. If you depend on motivation alone, you will stop every time it disappears. If you build discipline, you will keep going no matter what. Action is the true generator of motivation. When you act, you feel progress. Progress feels good. That good feeling creates motivation. The more you act, the more motivated you feel. This is the real cycle. Action creates progress. Progress creates motivation, and motivation creates more action. But the first step is always action. Here is a simple truth. You do not need to feel good to start. You need to start to feel good. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for the wind to move your ship. Action is like using the oars. You move forward even if the wind is not blowing. So, instead of asking yourself, How can I feel motivated? Ask, what small action can I take right now? The action can be tiny. Write one sentence, do one push-up, make one phone call. Once you start, the energy grows. This is why small steps are powerful. They break the myth of motivation and replace it with the truth of momentum. Motivation also becomes stronger when it is tied to purpose. If you have a clear reason for acting, you do not need to feel excited every day. Your purpose drives you forward. For example, a parent may not feel motivated to work 2 jobs, but they do it because they want to provide for their children. The purpose gives them strength beyond feelings. If you connect your actions to a purpose greater than comfort, you will move even without motivation. Motivation is like the weather, it changes daily. Discipline and purpose are like the ground beneath your feet, they stay steady. If you build your life on motivation, your foundation is unstable. If you build it on action, discipline and purpose, your foundation is strong. This is why the myth of motivation must be destroyed. You do not need to feel ready. You do not need to feel inspired. You do not need to wait for a perfect morning. You only need to take the first step. Once you do, everything changes. In the next chapter, we will see how small steps, repeated daily, build big wins. You will learn that you do not need giant leaps to change your life. You only need consistent small actions. These small actions create the momentum that forces you to keep moving forward. Chapter 4: Small Steps, Big Wins. When people think about taking action, they often imagine big changes. They think they need to transform their whole life at once. They imagine running a marathon, writing a book in one sitting, or starting a business overnight. Because these goals feel so huge, they become overwhelming. The truth is, big wins do not come from giant leaps. They come from small steps repeated every day. Think of climbing a mountain. At the bottom, the top looks far away, maybe even impossible. If you stare at the peak, you may feel too scared to begin. But if you focus only on the next step, you move forward. Step by step, you get higher. At first, the progress feels small, but soon you realize you are halfway up. With steady steps, you eventually reach the top. This is how life works. Success is not one giant action. Success is many small actions stacked together. The problem is that people often ignore small steps. They think small is not enough. They say, what is the point of writing 1 page? What is the point of walking for 10 minutes? What is the point of saving $1? But small steps build habits. Habits build momentum. Momentum builds results. 1 page each day becomes a book in a year. 10 minutes of walking each day becomes a healthy body. $1 saved each day becomes hundreds by the end of the year. Small steps, over time, become big wins. Small steps also trick the brain. The brain resists big tasks because they feel heavy. It tells you, this is too much. Let's do it later. But when you reduce the task to something small, the brain relaxes. Writing 1 page feels easy. Doing 2 push-ups feels easy. Reading for 5 minutes feels easy. Once you start, you often end up doing more. This is the power of starting small. It lowers resistance and gets you moving. There is another benefit of small steps. They create quick wins. Quick wins give you confidence. When you complete something small, you feel progress. That feeling motivates you to continue. If you wait for big wins, you may feel stuck for months. If you celebrate small wins, you feel progress every day. This daily progress keeps you going. Think about a child learning to walk. They do not run on the first try. They take 1 shaky step, then another. They fall many times, but each small step builds strength. Soon the child walks confidently. Later they run. If the child waited to be perfect before starting, they would never walk. In the same way, you must begin with small steps. Perfection is not needed. Progress. Small steps are also powerful because they create identity. When you do one small action every day, you begin to see yourself differently. If you write daily, you begin to see yourself as a writer. If you exercise daily, you begin to see yourself as a healthy person. Identity creates consistency. You keep acting because it matches who you believe you are. Some people avoid small steps because they want fast results. They want to lose weight in a week or make money overnight. But fast results are often unstable. They do not last. Small steps create lasting change. They build deep roots. Just like a tree grows slowly but becomes strong, your growth through small steps may be slow, but it is permanent. It is also important to understand that small steps are not excuses to stay small. They are the path to big wins. If you keep taking them, they grow into massive results, but you must stay consistent. Doing one small thing once does not change your life. Doing one small thing every day does. Consistency turns small into big. When you face a goal that feels too big, ask yourself, what is the smallest step I can take right now? If you want to run a marathon, the smallest step may be walking around the block. If you want to write a book, the smallest step may be writing one paragraph. If you want to start a business, the smallest step may be researching for 10 minutes. The key is to start. Once you start, the rest follows. Remember that every great achievement you admire was built from small steps. Every skyscraper was built brick by brick. Every song was written note by note. Every success story began with a single action. The people who win are not the ones who wait for big moments. They are the ones who take small steps daily, without stopping. So do not underestimate the power of small. Small is the seed. Small is the spark. Small is the beginning. When you honor small steps, you open the door to big wins. In the next chapter, we will look deeper into the science of momentum. You will see why, once you start moving, it becomes easier to keep moving. You will learn how momentum carries you forward and makes action feel natural instead of forced. Chapter 5. The Science of Momentum. Have you ever noticed how hard it feels to start something, but once you begin, it becomes easier to keep going? This is the power of momentum. Momentum is the force that carries you forward after you begin. At the start, your brain resists. It feels heavy, but once you push through that first resistance, the weight begins to lift. The more you move, the more natural it feels to keep moving. Think about pushing a heavy car. At first, it feels almost impossible. The car does not want to move, but if you lean into it and keep pushing, eventually the wheels begin to turn. Once the car is moving, it takes less effort to keep it going. That is momentum. Your actions work the same way. Starting is the hardest part. Continuing is much easier once you begin. The science of momentum is simple. Objects in motion stay in motion. Objects at rest stay at rest. This is Newton's law of physics, but it also applies to human behavior. If you stay still, you will keep staying still. If you take action, you will keep taking action. This is why starting, even with the smallest step, is so important. Momentum is also connected to the brain. When you act, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of reward. Dopamine makes you feel good. The more you act, the more dopamine you release. This creates a loop. Action makes you feel good. Feeling good makes you want to act more, and acting more keeps the momentum alive. But if you never start, the loop never begins. Momentum also reduces fear. Before you start, fear feels big. You imagine all the things that could go wrong. But once you begin, the mind shifts from fear to focus. For example, if you are afraid to give a speech, the fear feels huge before you start talking. But once you begin, your focus moves to the words and the audience. The fear shrinks because action has taken its place. Another benefit of momentum is energy. At rest, you often feel tired. You think, I don't have the energy to do this. But when you begin, energy rises. Action itself creates energy. For example, you may not feel like exercising, But once you start moving, your body warms up and energy grows. The same is true for work, study, or creative projects. Waiting for energy is a trap. Action creates energy. Momentum also helps with consistency. The more days you act, the stronger the habit becomes. Each day builds on the last. Soon, action feels automatic. For example, if you write 1 page every day, after a few weeks, it feels strange not to write. This is momentum turning into habit. Habit is momentum made permanent. But momentum can work against you too. If you avoid action, that becomes your momentum. Procrastination creates its own force. Each day you delay, it becomes easier to delay again. This is why breaking procrastination early is important. If you stop the negative momentum quickly, it is easier to reverse. If you let it build, it becomes harder to escape. The secret to using momentum is to focus on starting, not finishing. Many people get stuck because they look at the whole mountain. They ask, how can I possibly finish this? The size of the task freezes them, but momentum does not come from finishing. It comes from starting. Once you start, momentum takes care of the rest. Here is an example. Imagine you want to clean your house. Thinking about the whole house feels overwhelming. But if you say, I will just clean one corner, you begin. Once that corner is clean, you feel progress. Progress gives you energy. You decide to clean more. Soon, the whole house is cleaner than you expected. Momentum turned a small start into a big result. Momentum is also powerful in personal growth. If you read 1 page of a book today, tomorrow it is easier to read 2. If you save $1 today, tomorrow it feels natural to save more. If you run for 5 minutes today, tomorrow you can run 10. Small actions stack together and build force. Over time, the momentum carries you further than you imagined. The danger is in stopping completely. When you stop, momentum fades. Starting again feels just as heavy as the first time. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. It is better to take small actions daily than to take one big action and then stop for weeks. Daily action keeps the wheels turning. Stopping makes them freeze. Think about a train. When it is standing still, it takes massive energy to move. But once it is moving, it can travel for miles with little effort. Your life is the same. When you build momentum, you carry yourself forward with less effort. At first it feels hard, but later it feels natural. Momentum is not magic. It is science. It is habit. It is consistency, and it is available to everyone. The key is to stop waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect mood, or the perfect moment. The only key is to start. Once you start, momentum will do half the work for you. So the next time you face a task and feel resistance, tell yourself, I don't need to finish this right now. I just need to start. Once you begin, momentum will carry you further than you thought possible. In the next chapter, we will explore breaking the comfort zone. You will learn why comfort holds you back and how to push beyond it. But remember this truth, momentum is your friend. Start small, keep moving, and let momentum carry you toward big wins. Chapter 6. Breaking the comfort zone. Every human being has a comfort zone. It is the space where you feel safe, familiar, and in control. Inside the comfort zone, life feels easy. You know what to expect. You face no risk, no fear, and no big challenges. The comfort zone is warm, but it is also dangerous. Because while it feels safe, nothing grows there. Growth happens only outside the comfort zone. Think about a muscle. If you only lift weights that are easy, your muscle never grows stronger. To grow, you must push the muscle with resistance, with weight that feels hard. The discomfort forces it to adapt. Life is the same. If you only do what feels comfortable, you stay the same. To grow, you must step into discomfort. That is where change begins. The comfort zone is tricky because it hides itself as protection. Your brain tells you, stay here, it is safe. Do not take risks. Do not face fear. This is because the brain is designed for survival, not for growth. Thousands of years ago, staying in the safe zone kept people alive, but today, the safe zone often keeps people stuck. It protects you from danger, but it also protects you from progress. Why do people avoid leaving the comfort zone? Fear is the main reason. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish. Your mind imagines the worst outcome and convinces you that staying put is better. But most of the fears inside your head never come true. They are shadows, not reality. The only way to see this is to step forward. Once you act, you realize the fear was bigger in your mind than in real life. Another reason is habit. If you always stay inside your routine, it becomes natural. You wake up, do the same things, and go to sleep. Breaking this cycle feels uncomfortable, but routine comfort is silent danger. Years can pass, and you realize nothing has changed. You are the same person you were 5 years ago. Comfort has stolen your growth. To break the comfort zone, you must practice courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling fear and moving anyway. Each time you step into discomfort, your comfort zone expands. What once felt scary becomes normal. For example, the first time you speak in front of people, it feels terrifying. But if you do it again and again, it becomes easier. What was once outside your comfort zone becomes part of it. The secret is to take small steps. You do not need to jump into extreme discomfort right away. Begin with little challenges. If you fear talking to strangers, start by saying hello to one person. If you fear exercise, start with 5 minutes. Each small step stretches your comfort zone. Over time, the circle grows larger, and you grow stronger. Breaking the comfort zone also teaches resilience. When you face discomfort, you learn to handle stress. You learn that fear does not kill you. You learn that mistakes are not the end. Each challenge builds mental toughness. Soon, things that once scared you feel easy, and because of this, you are ready for even bigger challenges. Comfort zones are also mental. Many people believe lies like, "I am not good enough," or "I cannot do that." These thoughts create invisible walls. The only way to break them is by proving yourself wrong through action. Each time you act, you show your brain that you can. Slowly, the walls of limitation fall down. Remember, comfort zones are prisons that feel like homes. They keep you from danger, but they also keep you from freedom. The life you want is outside that zone. The career, the health, the success, the growth, it all lives beyond comfort. To reach it, you must walk through discomfort. Breaking the comfort zone does not mean living in pain all the time. It means choosing growth over ease. It means choosing long-term progress over short-term safety. It means asking, will this choice help me grow, or will it keep me stuck? Then choosing the path of growth, even if it feels uncomfortable. Over time, you may even begin to love discomfort, because you realize it is the sign of growth. When you feel nervous before a challenge, it means you are expanding. When you feel uncomfortable, it means you are learning. Instead of running from discomfort, you begin to welcome it. You say, "This is how I grow." So ask yourself now, what comfort zones are holding you back? Are you stuck in a job you hate because it feels safe? Are you avoiding health changes because they feel hard? Are you staying quiet when you want to speak because it feels easier? Each of these is a comfort zone, and each is a cage. The good news is that you have the power to break free. Every time you choose discomfort over ease, you grow stronger. Every time you face fear instead of hiding, you expand. Every time you step outside the familiar, you create a new version of yourself. In the next chapter, we will explore one of the simplest tools to fight procrastination and force action, the 2-minute rule. You will learn how starting with just 2 minutes can break resistance and create momentum. But remember this, nothing changes inside your comfort zone. To grow, to succeed, To truly live, you must break it. Chapter 7. The 2-minute rule. One of the biggest lies the mind tells you is that a task is too big to start. You look at a project and think, this will take hours. I don't have the energy. I'll do it later. Later becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week, and the task never begins. But there is a simple trick to break this cycle. It is called the 2-minute rule. The idea is simple. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it right now. And if the task is big, commit only to doing the first 2 minutes. Why does this work? Because the hardest part of any task is starting. Once you begin, resistance fades. Your brain sees progress and wants to continue. The 2-minute rule lowers the barrier so low that your excuses disappear. 2 minutes feels too small to resist. Anyone can do 2 minutes, but those 2 minutes often turn into 10, 30, or even hours of work. Think of reading a book. If you say, I must read 50 pages, it feels heavy. You may avoid it, but if you say, I will just read for 2 minutes, it feels light. Once you begin, you often read much more. The same works for writing. Instead of saying, I must write a whole chapter, say, I will just write for 2 minutes. Once you start typing, ideas flow. Momentum grows. What began as 2 minutes often turns into much more. The 2-minute rule works because it tricks your brain. The brain resists large commitments but accepts small ones. It is the same reason why someone who says, I will run for 1 hour, often delays, while someone who says, I will just put on my shoes and jog for 2 minutes, usually ends up running longer. Once you are moving, the hard part is already done. The rule also removes procrastination from small tasks. For example, washing a dish, sending a quick email, folding one shirt. These all take less than 2 minutes. If you do them right away, they never pile up. A home, a desk, or a mind filled with undone 2-minute tasks quickly becomes messy. But if you follow the rule, small tasks stay small, and your environment feels lighter. The power of the 2-minute rule is not about finishing everything in 2 minutes. It is about building the habit of starting. Habits are formed not by the size of the action, but by the repetition. When you start often, the brain learns that action is normal. Soon, you become a person who acts, not a person who delays. Another reason the rule works is because it removes perfectionism. When you tell yourself you will only do 2 minutes, there is no pressure to be perfect. You are not trying to finish. You are just starting. This lowers fear and makes action simple. And once you start, perfectionism often fades because progress feels more important than perfection. Think about the difference between someone who uses this rule and someone who does not. The first person begins tasks every day. They build momentum. Small wins add up. The second person waits for the perfect moment, feels overwhelmed, and stays stuck. After a year, the first person has grown, learned, and achieved. The second person is still waiting. The difference is not talent or luck. It is simply the habit of starting with 2 minutes. Some people doubt this rule because they think 2 minutes is too small to matter. But small is powerful. 2 minutes is enough to open a book, start a workout, write a sentence, or clean a corner. And once you start, you often do more. Even if you truly stop after 2 minutes, you still prove to yourself that you can act. This strengthens your identity as someone who takes action. The 2-minute rule also helps when fear is high. For example, if you fear making a phone call, tell yourself, I will just dial the number and talk for 2 minutes. If you fear starting a project, tell yourself, I will just open the file and work for 2 minutes. By shrinking the task, fear shrinks too. Once you begin, you often find that fear was only a wall in your mind. Another benefit is consistency. Anyone can do 2 minutes daily. Over time, those 2 minutes build habit strength. The brain learns to act regularly. Soon, the habit grows beyond 2 minutes naturally. You may start small, but you will not stay small. Small beginnings grow into big habits. Imagine the compound effect of this rule. 2 minutes of reading each day can become hours of learning over a year. 2 minutes of writing each day can become a finished book. 2 minutes of exercise each day can build a habit of health. The secret is not intensity. The secret is consistency, and the 2-minute rule is the easiest way to be consistent. The rule is simple, but it requires honesty. You must truly commit to the first 2 minutes without pressure. Do not say, "I will do 2 minutes, but really I expect an hour." Keep it light. Say just 2 minutes. If more happens, celebrate it. If not, you still acted. Either way, you win. So the next time you face resistance, shrink the task. Tell yourself, "I will just do 2 minutes." Then begin. You will be surprised how often 2 minutes is all it takes to break the wall of procrastination. In the next chapter, we will explore why discipline is stronger than motivation, and how building discipline makes action a natural part of your life. But never forget this: 2 minutes can change everything. Because 2 minutes is not about finishing, it is about starting, and starting is the key to action. Chapter 8. Discipline over motivation. Most people believe motivation is the secret to action. They think they need to feel inspired before they can begin. They wait for the perfect morning, the right energy, or the magical spark. But motivation is like the weather. It changes from day to day, sometimes even hour to hour. If you depend on it, your actions will rise and fall with your mood. The truth is, motivation is helpful, but it is not reliable. Discipline is stronger. Discipline is the ability to act whether you feel like it or not. Think of a student who has a test. If they wait to feel motivated, they may never study, but if they are disciplined, they open the book every day, no matter what. Over time, the disciplined student always does better than the motivated student, because while motivation comes and goes, discipline stays. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. At first, it feels hard to wake up early, to exercise, or to work consistently, but with practice, discipline grows. Soon, what once felt impossible feels normal. Just like a runner who trains every day builds endurance, a disciplined person builds endurance for action. Discipline also builds trust with yourself. Each time you act, even when you don't feel like it, you prove to yourself that your word matters. You said you would do it, and you did. This self-trust becomes confidence. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. Confidence grows not from big speeches, but from quiet discipline repeated daily. Motivation is about feelings. Discipline is about choices. Motivation asks, "Do I feel like it today?" Discipline says, "It doesn't matter how I feel. I will do it anyway." The most successful people in the world are not always motivated, but they are always disciplined. Athletes train even on tired days. Writers write even when uninspired. Workers show up even when stressed. Their secret is not endless motivation. Their secret is discipline. Discipline also protects you from excuses. When you rely on motivation, excuses win. You say, "I'm too tired, I'm too busy, I don't feel like it." But discipline ignores excuses. It says, "This is what I do. I act." Excuses lose their power when discipline is strong. Another benefit of discipline is freedom. At first, discipline feels like restriction. You must follow rules and routines, but over time, discipline creates freedom. A disciplined body is free from illness. A disciplined wallet is free from debt. A disciplined schedule is free from chaos. By choosing discipline now, you create freedom later. Discipline also makes action automatic. At first, it takes effort to build, but once the habit forms, discipline feels natural. For example, brushing your teeth does not need motivation. You just do it. In the same way, when discipline is built, work, exercise, or study becomes automatic. It no longer depends on feelings. It becomes part of who you are. Many people admire motivated people, but they misunderstand what they are seeing. They think motivation is what makes them act, but in truth, it is discipline. The athlete running at sunrise is not always motivated. The writer finishing their book is not always inspired. What you are seeing is discipline. Discipline creates the results that people mistake for motivation. So how do you build discipline? Start small and be consistent. Do one thing every day, no matter what. Keep promises to yourself. Do not focus on how you feel. Focus on what you said you would do. Each time you keep your word, your discipline grows stronger. Remember that motivation is a wave, but discipline is the ground. Waves rise and fall, but the ground stays steady. Build your life on the ground, not on the wave. In the next chapter, we will talk about accountability and support, and how the right people can help you stay on track. But before we go there, never forget this truth. Motivation may start you, but only discipline will keep you going. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire. Build the fire, and you will never be without light. Chapter 9. Accountability and support. No one succeeds alone. Every person who takes consistent action has some form of accountability or support. Accountability means someone else knows about your goals and expects you to follow through. Support means people encourage you, guide you, and push you forward when you feel weak. Together, accountability and support create an environment where action becomes easier and harder to avoid. Think about a student who studies alone. If they decide to skip studying, no one knows, no one cares. But if the same student joins a study group, things change. Others expect them to show up. If they do not, they must explain why. That pressure makes them act. This is accountability. When you know someone is watching or waiting for you, you are more likely to keep your promise. The same works for fitness. Many people say they will exercise but skip when they are alone. But when they have a workout partner or trainer, they show up. Why? Because someone is expecting them. They do not want to disappoint. This small social pressure pushes them to act, even on days when they feel lazy. Accountability can take many forms. It can be a friend you check in with daily. It can be a mentor who guides you weekly. It can even be a public commitment, like sharing your goals online. The form does not matter as much as the effect. The effect is simple. Someone else knows, so you cannot hide. Support is different but equally important. Support means having people who encourage you when you feel tired, who remind you of your goals when you forget, and who believe in you when you doubt yourself. Action is hard, and doubt will always appear. In those moments, support keeps you moving. Think about a runner in a marathon. The road is long, and exhaustion is real. But when the crowd cheers, energy rises. The runner feels lifted, even though their body is tired. That is the power of support. Alone, you may stop. With support, you keep going. Accountability and support also protect you from giving up. When you act alone, quitting is easy. No one will notice. But when you are accountable to someone else, quitting feels harder. You would not only disappoint yourself, but also them. This extra weight often keeps you in the game. Many people succeed simply because they refuse to quit in front of someone else. Support also gives you perspective. When you face failure, you may think you are not good enough, but a supportive friend can remind you that failure is part of the process. When you feel stuck, they may give you advice you had not considered. When you feel small, they may remind you of how far you have come. Support multiplies your strength. Some people think asking for accountability and support is weakness, but in truth, it is wisdom. Even the strongest leaders, athletes and creators rely on teams, coaches and mentors. Accountability and support are not signs of weakness. They are tools for strength. Building accountability does not have to be complicated. Start by telling one person your goal and your deadline. For example, say, "I will finish this chapter by Friday." Ask them to check in with you. Knowing that someone will ask, "Did you do it?" creates pressure. That pressure can be uncomfortable, but it pushes you to act. Support can also be built by choosing your environment wisely. Surround yourself with people who take action, who chase goals, who encourage growth. If you spend time with people who are negative, lazy, or afraid, their mindset will rub off on you. If you spend time with people who act, their energy will push you to act too. Environment shapes behavior. Choose wisely. Technology can also be used for accountability. Apps that track habits, groups that share progress, or communities that challenge each other can all create accountability and support. What matters is not the tool but the system. The system makes action harder to avoid. Remember, accountability and support are not just about pressure, they are also about encouragement. Life will bring setbacks. Discipline will sometimes fail. In those moments, having someone who says, "Keep going, you can do this," can make all the difference. Encouragement is fuel for the tired heart. So do not try to do everything alone. Share your goals, ask for help, build accountability and seek support. Alone, you may go fast for a short time. Together, you go far for a lifetime. In the next chapter, we will explore how visualization and identity shape your actions. You will learn how seeing yourself as an action taker changes the way you live. But before we go there, remember this. Action may start with you, but it grows stronger with accountability and support. Do not be afraid to lean on others. Their strength will help you find your own. Chapter 10. Visualization and Identity. Action does not only come from what you do, it also comes from how you see yourself. If you see yourself as lazy, you will act lazy. If you see yourself as weak, you will act weak. But if you see yourself as strong, disciplined, and capable, you will act in that way. Your identity shapes your behavior, and the good news is, you can choose your identity. You can decide to see yourself as an action taker. Visualization is one of the strongest tools for shaping identity. Visualization means creating a clear picture in your mind of what you want to become. When you imagine yourself acting with strength, confidence, and discipline, your brain begins to accept it as truth. The more you see it, the more natural it becomes. Then, when you face real choices, you act in line with that vision. Think about athletes before a big game. Many of them close their eyes and imagine the moves they will make. They see themselves running, scoring, winning. Their brain begins to prepare as if it has already happened. When the game starts, they act with confidence. This is the power of visualization. The mind practices before the body does. You can use the same tool for your own life. Imagine yourself waking up early and working on your goals. Imagine yourself saying no to distractions and yes to progress. Imagine yourself taking action even when it is hard. The clearer the picture, the stronger the effect. Your brain begins to believe, "This is who I am." And when identity changes, behavior follows. Identity is even more powerful than goals. A goal says, "I want to lose weight." Identity says, "I am a healthy person." A goal says, "I want to write a book." Identity says, "I am a writer." A goal says, "I want to run a marathon." Identity says, "I am a runner." Goals can fade, but identity stays. If you build the identity of an action taker, every day you will act in line with it. This is why visualization works best when tied to identity. Do not just see the outcome. See yourself as the kind of person who does the actions. Do not only imagine the finished book. Imagine yourself sitting down and writing daily. Do not only imagine the medal at the marathon. Imagine yourself lacing your shoes and running each morning. Identity lives in the process, not just the result. Many people fail to act because they hold on to old identities. They say, "I'm just not that type of person. I'm not disciplined. I'm not confident. I'm not good at finishing things." These are not truths. They are stories. Stories can be rewritten. The moment you change your story, you change your life. If you decide to believe, I am someone who takes action. Your brain begins to look for ways to act. Visualization also helps fight fear. Before a big challenge, fear creates negative pictures in your mind. You imagine failing, being embarrassed, or giving up. Visualization replaces these negative pictures with positive ones. When you see yourself succeeding in your mind, your body feels calmer and your actions become stronger. Identity change comes from small proof. Each time you act, you prove your new identity. If you want to be a reader, each page you read is proof. If you want to be fit, each workout is proof. If you want to be an action taker, each step you take is proof. The more proof you collect, the stronger the identity becomes. Soon, it is no longer something you are trying to become. It is simply who you are. This is why action and identity feed each other. Visualization creates identity. Identity drives action. Action strengthens identity. The cycle continues. This is how people transform completely. Not overnight, but step by step, action by action, vision by vision. To practice visualization, spend a few minutes each day imagining the person you want to be. Close your eyes and see yourself acting with strength. Feel the emotions of success. Make the picture as real as possible. Then open your eyes and take one action in line with that vision. Over time, your mind and body will align with your new identity. Remember, you become what you believe. If you believe you are lazy, you will stay lazy. If you believe you are strong, you will act strong. Choose your belief carefully. Choose the identity of an action taker. Once you wear that identity, action will feel natural. In the next chapter, we will explore focus and eliminating distractions. You will learn how to protect your attention so you can act without being pulled away. But never forget this truth. Action begins in the mind. See it, believe it, become it. When you change your identity, you change your life. Chapter 11. Focus and eliminate distractions. One of the greatest enemies of action is distraction. You may have the will to act. You may even have the plan, but if your focus is weak, distractions will steal your time. Focus is like a magnifying glass. When the light of the sun passes through it, the rays become powerful enough to burn paper. Without focus, the light is scattered and weak. In the same way, when your mind is focused, you achieve powerful results. When it is scattered, your energy disappears. Distractions are everywhere in today's world. Your phone rings with messages. Your social media pulls your attention. The television calls your name, and even your own thoughts can become distractions. Each small distraction may seem harmless, but together they destroy hours. You may sit to work for an hour and realize you only gave 10 minutes of true attention. This is why mastering focus is essential if you want to force yourself to take action. Focus begins with clarity. If you do not know what you are supposed to do, anything can distract you. When you have a clear target, it becomes easier to ignore other things. If you sit down and say, "I will write 1 page," you have a target. If you sit down and simply say, "I will work," the mind will wander. Clear goals sharpen focus. Another key to focus is environment. The space around you shapes your behavior. If your desk is full of clutter, your mind will feel cluttered too. If your phone is near, you will touch it. If the TV is on, you will look at it. To focus, you must design your environment for success. A clean desk, a quiet space, and tools ready to use all make action easier. Removing distractions from the environment is just as important as controlling them in your mind. Your brain also works best in short bursts of focus. Many people think they must work for hours without pause, but the truth is the brain loses power after too long. A better way is to work in focused blocks, then rest. For example, focus deeply for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. This cycle keeps your focus sharp and prevents burnout. Distractions are not only external, they also come from inside. Your own mind may wander to worries, memories, or random thoughts. When this happens, do not fight it with anger. Simply notice it and gently bring your attention back to the task. This practice strengthens your mental muscles, just like lifting weights makes your body stronger. Bringing your attention back makes your focus stronger. Another way to strengthen focus is to control your phone. Phones are the greatest source of distraction in modern life. Each beep and buzz pulls your mind away from the task. 1 minute of checking can turn into half an hour of scrolling. To protect focus, put your phone in another room. Turn off notifications or use apps that block social media during work time. Treat your focus as something precious and guard it. Focus also grows when you have a reason. If you know why the task matters, your brain stays with it. If the task feels meaningless, distractions win. Always remind yourself of your purpose. Ask, why am I doing this? What will this action give me? A strong why fuels strong focus. Sometimes you must also make hard choices. Focus means saying yes to one thing and no to many others. If you try to do everything, you achieve nothing. Decide what matters most and give it your full attention. Distractions often look like opportunities, but if they take you away from your main goal, they are not truly opportunities. Another trick is to set a start time. If you say, I will work sometime today, distractions will fill the day. If you say, I will start at 9 a.m., your brain prepares. A clear time creates commitment. Combine this with a short ritual, like sitting at your desk, closing your eyes, and taking a deep breath before starting. Rituals tell your brain it is time to focus. Focus also grows with practice. At first, your mind may wander often, but each time you bring it back, you grow stronger. Over weeks and months, you will notice you can stay with a task longer and deeper. Focus is not a gift, it is a skill, and skills are built through practice. Imagine your focus as water flowing in a river. If the river is divided into many small streams, none of them are powerful. But if the water flows in one direction, it becomes strong enough to move rocks. Your mind works the same way. When your attention is divided, you achieve little. When your attention is unified, you achieve greatness. So remember this, success is not only about working hard, it is about working with focus. Eliminate distractions, sharpen your attention, and your actions will multiply in power. Distractions will always exist. You cannot remove them all, but you can control your relationship with them. You can choose what deserves your attention and what does not. Each time you choose focus, you strengthen your ability to act. In the next chapter, we will explore reward and progress tracking. You will see how celebrating small wins and measuring your journey keeps motivation alive and makes consistency easier. But never forget this, focus is your superpower. Protect it, and it will protect your dreams. Chapter 12, Reward and Progress Tracking. The human brain loves rewards. From the time we are children, rewards shape our behavior. A child cleans their room and gets praise. A student studies hard and earns a good grade. An athlete trains and wins a medal. Each reward teaches the brain. This action is good. Do it again. Rewards are powerful because they make action satisfying. If you want to force yourself to take action, you must learn how to reward yourself and track your progress. The mistake many people make is waiting for the final reward only. They tell themselves, I will celebrate when I finish the book. I will feel proud when I lose all the weight. I will be happy when I reach the top. But these goals may take months or years. If you wait that long, you may give up before you get there. The secret is to give yourself small rewards along the way. These rewards keep you moving when the final goal is still far away. Imagine trying to climb a mountain. If you only celebrate at the top, the journey feels endless. But if you celebrate each milestone, each camp, each new view, the journey feels exciting. The same is true with your goals. Celebrate small wins. Each page written, each workout completed, each dollar saved is progress worth rewarding. Rewards do not need to be big. Sometimes a simple, "well done" said to yourself is enough. Sometimes it is a short break, a favorite snack, or time to enjoy something you love. The point is not the size of the reward, but the recognition of progress. Your brain needs to know the effort matters. When you reward progress, your brain connects action with pleasure. That connection makes it easier to act again tomorrow. Progress tracking is another tool that multiplies motivation. What you measure, you improve. When you track your actions, you see proof that you are moving forward. This proof is powerful because the brain loves visible progress. Think of a thermometer rising as it fills. Each line crossed feels satisfying. In the same way, tracking your steps, words, or hours shows you that your work is paying off. Without tracking, progress can feel invisible. You may tell yourself you are not improving, even when you are. But a simple chart, journal, or app can show you the truth. Each mark on the page is a victory. Each number is evidence. This evidence fights the lie that your actions do not matter. It tells you, keep going. You are moving forward. Rewards and tracking also fight boredom. Doing the same task every day can feel dull. But when you see progress and give yourself rewards, the task feels meaningful. It becomes a game you want to continue. Each day you act, you move the marker forward. Each step becomes exciting because it adds to the story of your success. Rewards also help in hard moments. When you feel tired, the promise of a reward can push you to finish. Athletes push through the pain of training because they know the medal will come. Students push through long hours of study because they know the grade will come. In your own life, even a small reward can carry you through resistance, but you must be careful with rewards. They should support your goal, not harm it. For example, if your goal is health, do not reward a workout with junk food. Reward it with something that still respects your progress. The best rewards give pleasure while supporting your growth. Tracking also protects you from giving up. When progress feels slow, you may feel like nothing is changing. But when you look at your record, you see the truth. You see the pages you have written, the miles you have run, the days you have shown up. Even if the final goal feels far, the proof of progress gives you strength to continue. Some people fear tracking because they think it will feel like pressure. But the opposite is true. Tracking gives freedom. It shows you that effort counts even if results are not visible yet. For example, someone trying to lose weight may not see changes in the mirror right away, but if they track their healthy meals and workouts, they see evidence that they are on the right path. That evidence builds faith and patience. Rewards and tracking together create a powerful cycle. You act, you track progress, you reward yourself, and your brain feels good. That good feeling makes you act again. Soon, the cycle becomes a habit. Action no longer feels forced, it feels rewarding. Think about your own life. Where could you add rewards? Where could you track progress? Could you mark each day you complete a habit? Could you give yourself a small treat after finishing a task? Could you create a chart that shows your journey? These simple tools may seem small, but they change everything. Remember this truth. Action is hard when it feels endless and thankless. Action becomes easy when it feels rewarding and visible. Use rewards to give yourself joy. Use tracking to give yourself proof. Together, they turn action from a burden into a game you want to win. In the next chapter, we will explore how to handle failure without quitting, because no matter how well you track or reward, setbacks will come. The key is to face failure and keep moving forward. But before we go there, never forget this. What gets rewarded gets repeated, and what gets tracked gets improved. Chapter 13. Handling failure without quitting. No matter how strong your discipline is, no matter how clear your focus is, failure will come. This is not a maybe, it is a guarantee. Everyone who tries fails, everyone who acts stumbles. Failure is not a sign that you are weak. It is a sign that you are moving. The only people who never fail are the ones who never try, but they also never grow. If you want to force yourself to take action, you must learn to face failure without quitting. Failure hurts because it attacks the ego. When you try something and do not succeed, you may think, "I am not good enough. I am not capable. I should stop." But this is not the truth. Failure is not your identity. Failure is feedback. It is information. It is life showing you what does not work, so you can discover what does. The person who sees failure as the end will quit. The person who sees failure as feedback will grow. Think about Thomas Edison, the man who created the light bulb. He failed thousands of times before success, but he did not call them failures. He called them lessons. Each attempt showed him what not to do next. In his own words, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His success did not come because he avoided failure. It came because he used failure. Failure also builds strength. Every time you fall and rise again, you grow tougher. You learn that pain does not last forever. You learn that you are stronger than you thought. Quitting stops growth, but rising after failure multiplies it. The strongest people in life are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who fall and rise again and again. One reason failure feels so heavy is because people see it as permanent. They think one failure means forever failure, but this is false. Failure is temporary. It is a moment, not a lifetime. What matters is not the failure, but what you do next. If you stop, failure wins. If you continue, failure becomes the foundation of success. Another reason failure feels heavy is comparison. You see others succeed and wonder why you failed, but what you do not see is their hidden failures. Every person who has succeeded has failed many times. They simply kept going. You are only seeing the victory, not the journey. Never let comparison trick you into thinking you are alone in failure. Failure can also bring shame if you worry too much about what others think. You may fear people laughing at you, but most people are too busy with their own lives to care. And the ones who laugh are not building anything themselves. Builders respect builders, even when they fail. Only the idle mock. Do not fear their voices. Fear only standing still. To handle failure, you must change your questions. Instead of asking, "Why did I fail? What is wrong with me?" Ask, "What can I learn? What can I try differently?" One question makes you weak. The other makes you strong. Learning from failure turns it into a teacher instead of a jailer. You must also remember that small failures are part of big wins. A child falls many times before they learn to walk. An athlete loses many games before they become a champion. A student makes mistakes before they master the subject. Each failure is not the end, but a step toward mastery. Another tool is to expect failure. Do not be surprised by it. Prepare for it. When you start something new, remind yourself, "I will fail at times, and that is normal." This mindset protects you from shock. When failure comes, you nod and say, "Here it is, time to learn." This way, failure loses its power to scare you. It is also important to separate failure from identity. Failing at something does not mean you are a failure. It means you tried. Identity is built not from results, but from persistence. You are not the result of one event. You are the result of continuous effort. Handling failure also means knowing when to adjust. Sometimes failure shows that a method does not work. Instead of quitting, change your approach. The goal remains, but the path can change. Success is rarely a straight line. It is full of turns, tests, and trials. Flexibility is how you survive the journey. Think of failure as a broken step on a staircase. If one step breaks, you do not stop climbing. You find another way, you adjust your foot, and keep going up. Failure is just one broken step. The staircase is still waiting. Finally, remind yourself that every failure makes success sweeter. Victory without struggle feels empty. Victory after many failures feels powerful. The taste of success is richer when you know the pain it took to reach it. So when failure comes, and it will, do not quit. Do not let the story end there. Write the next chapter. Rise again. Try again. Learn again. Action in the face of failure is the mark of true strength. In the next chapter, we will talk about building long-term consistency, the habit that keeps action alive for years. But remember this truth: failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the path to success. Do not fear it, use it. Chapter 14, Building Long-Term Consistency. Starting is powerful, momentum is powerful, but if you want true change in your life, you must learn the art of long-term consistency. Many people can start strong, many people can take action for a week or even a month, but very few continue for years. And yet, the biggest rewards in life only come with consistency. Success is not built in one day. It is built by showing up again and again, even on the boring days, even on the hard days, even on the days you feel nothing at all. Consistency is more important than intensity. Doing something small every day is more powerful than doing something huge once in a while. Reading 10 pages a day builds more knowledge than reading a whole book once a year. Exercising 15 minutes daily builds more health than exercising hard once a month. Saving a little money every week builds more wealth than saving a large amount once and then stopping. The secret is not doing more, it is doing often. The brain learns through repetition. When you act daily, the action becomes automatic. At first you must push yourself, but over time consistency turns into habit, and habit turns into identity. Soon, you no longer ask, "Will I do this today?" You simply do it because it has become who you are. That is the real power of consistency. It makes action natural. One of the greatest dangers to consistency is the search for perfection. Many people give up because they miss one day. They think, "I broke the streak, so it's over." But consistency is not about never missing. It is about not quitting. Missing one day is not failure. Missing 2 or 3 may happen too. What matters is returning quickly. Do not let one missed day turn into one missed month. Always return to action as soon as possible. Another danger is boredom. The early stages of action feel exciting, but over time, repetition can feel dull. This is where many people quit. They confuse excitement with progress, but true progress often feels boring. Going to the gym daily, writing daily, working daily, these things may not feel exciting, but they build greatness. Consistency is not about excitement, it is about commitment. To stay consistent, you must make the action simple and sustainable. Do not set goals so heavy that you cannot carry them for long. Instead, start small. Build the strength of consistency first, then increase the weight. It is better to do less for a year than to do more for a week and quit. Long-term success always belongs to the steady, not the intense. Tracking progress, as we discussed earlier, also helps with consistency. Seeing proof of your actions builds pride. It shows that your small daily steps are adding up. When you see a chain of days marked on a calendar, you feel motivated not to break it. This visual proof protects your consistency. Consistency also grows when tied to purpose. If you remember why you are acting, the daily work feels meaningful. Without purpose, routine feels empty. With purpose, routine feels powerful. Each day becomes another step toward a dream you truly care about. Purpose fuels consistency through the years. Support and accountability also strengthen consistency. When others expect you to show up, you are less likely to quit. When someone cheers you on, you want to keep going. Surround yourself with people who respect consistency, and their energy will keep you steady. Sometimes consistency means adjusting. Life changes, circumstances change. You may not always be able to act in the same way, But instead of quitting, adapt. If you cannot run, walk. If you cannot write for an hour, write for 5 minutes. If you cannot save $100, save 10. Adaptation keeps consistency alive even when life becomes difficult. Remember that consistency compounds. Each day adds to the last. The effect may not be visible at first, but over time it grows into something massive. A tree does not grow tall in one season, but with steady growth each year, it becomes mighty. Your life works the same way. The truth is simple. Anyone can act once. Anyone can act for a short time. But the ones who win in the end are the ones who act for years. They are not the most talented. They are not the luckiest. They are simply the most consistent. So build the habit of showing up. Decide that no matter what, you will keep acting. Even if progress feels slow, even if the results are not visible yet, trust in the power of consistency. Over time, it will take you further than you ever imagined. In the final chapter, we will bring everything together. You will see how mindset, habits, and persistence all connect. And you will be reminded of the simple but powerful truth. Success belongs to those who act and who keep acting. Chapter 15, The Action Mindset. Final chapter. We have come a long way in this audiobook. You have learned why we avoid action, the cost of inaction, the myth of motivation, and the power of small steps. You have seen how momentum works, how to break the comfort zone, and how to use tools like the 2-minute rule. You have learned the strength of discipline, accountability, visualization, focus, rewards, and consistency. Now it is time to bring it all together into one truth, the action mindset. The action mindset is a way of thinking and living where action comes first. It is the decision to move forward, even when you are scared, even when you are tired, even when you are not ready. It is the belief that action is more powerful than excuses, more powerful than waiting, and more powerful than fear. Once you adopt the action mindset, you stop asking, "Should I act?" and start saying, "I will." The action mindset begins with responsibility. You accept that your life is in your hands, not in luck, not in others, not in circumstances, but in your daily choices. Each choice builds your future. If you wait, your life waits. If you move, your life moves. Responsibility is the foundation of action. The action mindset also values progress over perfection. You no longer wait for the perfect plan or the perfect time. You know that progress, no matter how small, is better than standing still. You choose to act now, even if it is messy, even if it is imperfect, because action leads to learning, and learning leads to improvement. With the action mindset, you see failure differently. Failure is not the enemy. Failure is a teacher. You welcome it, learn from it, and rise again. Each failure becomes proof that you are moving. Each mistake becomes a step toward success. Quitting is no longer an option, because you know failure is part of the path, not the end of it. The action mindset also connects to identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who waits, who hesitates, or who talks without doing. You see yourself as someone who acts, an action taker. This identity becomes your guide. Every day when faced with choices, you ask, "What would an action taker do?" And then you do it. Another part of the action mindset is courage. Not the absence of fear, but the decision to move through it. You know fear will always be there, but instead of waiting for it to disappear, you choose to act beside it. Each time you act in fear, you shrink its power. Courage grows, and fear weakens. The action mindset is also about consistency. You understand that one action is not enough. You must keep acting, day after day, year after year. Big dreams are built with small daily steps. The action mindset does not chase quick wins. It builds lasting change through steady progress. The action mindset also values time. You understand that time is the most precious resource. Every day wasted in hesitation is a day you never get back, so you choose to act now, not tomorrow, not later, but today. Because today is the only day you truly have. Living with the action mindset does not mean life becomes easy. Challenges will still come. Distractions will still appear. Doubts will still whisper. But with the action mindset, you do not let these stop you. You keep moving forward. You keep choosing progress. You keep taking action, no matter what. The truth is simple. Success is not about talent, luck, or even intelligence. Success belongs to those who act. The world rewards the doers, not the dreamers. Dreams are beautiful, but only action turns them into reality. So as you reach the end of this audiobook, ask yourself, what action will I take today? Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Choose one step, no matter how small, and take it. That step will lead to the next, and then the next. Soon, you will see momentum build. You will see your identity shift. You will see your life change. This is the power of the action mindset. It is not about waiting. It is not about hoping. It is not about talking. It is about doing. And when you choose to live this way, you unlock the life you were meant to live. So take responsibility. Take courage. Take discipline. And most importantly, take action. Your dreams are waiting for you, but they will not come closer unless you move toward them. Remember this always. Action is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Cross it every day.